Hello everyone, my name is Roya and today I will be reviewing The Authentics by Abdi Nazemian, and this book is about a Persian American girl named Daria, or Darya because she says that her name means ocean in Farsi and ocean in Farsi is Darya, but it's totally spelled like Daria, and so I'm not really sure like how she actually pronounces it in the book, but because they don't actually really say, but basically this is about Daria as she finds out that she may possibly have been adopted and might not be Persian after all. So I would like to preface this review by saying that I am Persian, or half Persian anyway, and I am very extremely proud of it, to the point where I wish that my name that my parents had given me were Persian, because I was like that one random kid in Farsi school who did not have a Persian name at all. So like even my last name was not Persian and it was a bummer. But anyway, so I'm very proud of being Persian, and it always kind of crossed my mind when I was a kid, like all throughout my life, like what if I weren't actually Persian? Like what if I were actually adopted? Even though I totally knew I wasn't, because my mom looks exactly like me and so does my dad. It's pretty obvious I'm not adopted, but basically just the thought did cross my mind, like how weird that would be. And I'm sure that most people who have a heritage that they're really proud of can probably relate. This kind of just has a really great discussion about sort of, who are you? Are you the culture that you were raised as, or are you the culture that you are actually related to? All of that. So I really enjoyed that whole discussion on things. And basically I also loved how diverse this book was. So Daria's brother is gay and married to a Chinese guy, and they're having a baby in this book, and that's really, really awesome. And then out of her three best friends, basically all three of her best friends are queer or questioning, and also the author is queer and most of his books have queer main characters, so I think that they would definitely all be worth checking out. But anyway, this book also had a love story that was not the main focus and not even really any sort of happily ever after at all. And it was basically just a very much a side thing. So seldom do we see books that are just not just the happily ever after. So often do we see people like either like get back together if they break up or whatever. But so I really, really love it when books, especially young adult books, sort of give this message that it's okay to go out with someone when, you know, things might end and all of that. So I enjoyed that part as well. Also, the very Persianness of it and the Persian American culture specifically that we see in this book is so funny to me, because I grew up in, you know, in that culture and whatnot, and how interesting it is that, I mean, Persian Americans almost have their own culture in a way. And Daria calls her friend group the Authentics, and they actually go by that. Like everyone at their school kind of knows them as the Authentics because they actually gave themselves that name. This book has a really great discussion about how authentic can a human being possibly be when, of course, you're going to be keeping secrets from other people. You can't be truly authentic because you're never going to be able to be exactly who you are on the inside, on the outside. And there's also a great discussion in here about what art is, and if graffiti is considered art, and what is considered art, and if copying people, like copying other art, is considered art as well. It's funny because I was reading this at the same time as I was starting to listen to Saints and Misfits, which is also about a Middle Eastern American teenager, and I just was enjoying this one so much more just because it had so much more of a plot and a compelling story, and I just really loved that, because when a contemporary book is kind of just about kids in school, you kind of get really bored and whatnot. At least I do, because that's not my world anymore. I don't really care about kids in school, but this had I mean, any school scenes that were in this were extremely relevant to the plot, and so I really enjoyed that. I really loved just the fast-pacedness of this story. It's not a very long book, so everything in it is like story, 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 and it's really, really interesting. And so I'm not really sure how much more I can possibly say about this book, other than I gave it 5 stars. and I seriously think that everyone should read this. So if you've read this book, have thoughts on it, please let me know what your thoughts are down below, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!